In this exercise we will take a look at the catalogs and how to use them. So I will start a new scene. The catalogs in IronCAD is a versatile storage container for all your objects, whether it is parts, assemblies or features. The catalogs you have here on the right hand side contains different shapes, tools and videos, and if you click more catalogs you will find additional catalogs that contain shapes, tools that you can use in your design. If you want to make your own catalog, you can click New up here, and you can also open an existing catalog. You can save and also close a catalog, and you find the same options here if you click the Common tab. And here in this group catalogs you find you can start a new catalog, you can open and close, you can save catalogs. But now we will make a new catalog. Come up here, click New, and I will save it. And I will save it where I have my styling engine. I will call this catalog engine parts. Then I hit enter. So now we see the name here on this tab, engine parts. Then I will open a scene, come up here, open, and I will open the engine scene, this one. And then I would like to drag these parts to this new catalog, drag and drop them there. So I will select this cylinder in part level. Then I left click and hold, drag the cylinder, and I drop it here. And I got a question or a message. Do you want to maintain the external link in the catalog? No, I don't want that. So now we have a copy of that cylinder here in the catalog. And you can also come over to the scene browser and drag parts from the scene browser to the catalog. Now I have already drag and drop the cylinder. I can also drag and drop the crankcase. So I select the crankcase here, then drag it to the catalog and drop it here. And I got the same question, but I click no here. So now we have the crankcase here. So I will continue to drag the parts from the scene browser to the catalog. So I will continue with the cover, drag and drop it here, and the displacer piston, and the piston rod bushing, and the glass piston, and the glass cylinder, like so. So now we have all parts here in the catalog, a copy of the parts that we have in the scene. And down here we have the object viewer. If I select the cylinder now, the cylinder will now be viewed here in the object viewer. And when you drag a part to the catalog, and a 3D image will be created, and it will be shown here in the object viewer. If you open a catalog and there are no 3D image of the parts in the object viewer, you can right click the catalog and choose regenerate, and then 3D images will be created of the parts in the catalog, and you can see them here in the object viewer. But in the remaining videos the object viewer will not be included because the videos were recorded with an older version of IronCAD. If we now take a look at the icons here in the catalog, we see that they are shaped in a perspective view, and that's because of the camera angle. It has the same angle as the engine here in the scene. So if I were to change the camera angle, for instance if I press the W key on the keyboard, click here on this side of the crankcase, and also disable perspective view, like so. And then if I come over to the scene browser, if I now select the crankcase and drag it and drop it here in the catalog, and I will click no here, we see that now it has the same shape as you see here in the scene. So this is how I want it. So I will continue to drag the cylinder, drop it here, I click no here. The cover, I will drag that one later, I'll continue with the displacer piston and also the piston rod bushing and the glass piston and the glass cylinder. If you find that this object viewer is too large, you can come up here, move the cursor to this position. You will get a double arrow. You can change the size of the object viewer if you want to. But here we have the glass cylinder, and I will also drag the cover, move the camera a bit, use the W key to click here to look at. Now I can drag the cover and drop it here, like so. So now if we look here in the catalog, we have these items here now. So now I can delete the others. So I will select that one and then shift select the first one, and then I will right click and choose delete, like so. If I now want to move items here in the catalog, I can't just left click and hold and then drag. But if you use the shift key, hold the shift key and then left drag, you can move the parts in the catalog. So if I now drop this cover on the piston rod bushing here, let go the left mouse button, the cover will be placed here, and the piston rod bushing will move down. So that's the way you can move parts or objects in the catalog, by using the shift key and the left mouse button. Then I would like to modify some parts here on the engine and add them to the catalog. For instance, I would like to modify the cylinder and also the crankcase. And I will change the cooling fins. And I have to select the IntelliShape, and the fastest way to select an IntelliShape in the scene is to press the Alt key and then left click the IntelliShape you want to select. So in this case, if I press the Alt key and left click this one, you will see that it will be selected, but you also see that all the cooling fins are linked because they have a purple color. If I now come over to the scene browser, expand this cylinder, we see that all the cooling fins are linked. So I will do like this. I will right click the first one here and go to unlink, and I will do the same with the others, like so. And now I will Alt left click this second cooling fin, and here I will change the diameter to 54. Then Alt left click the next one, change that to 58, hit enter. Alt left click the upper cooling fin and change that to 62, like so. And that will also change the diameter of the tube down here. Alt left click and change that to 18. Alt left click the fillet or the blend and change that to 6, like so. And then I will change the colors. So I go to the starter catalog, go down here, and then I will drag this materials group, drag and drop it here on the cylinder, and I will give it this color, paint blue, double click, drag the materials again, drag it on the, drop it on the crankcase, and I will choose paint orange. We'll do the same with the cover, drag the materials, drop it here on the cover, and I will change that to paint orange as well, like so. So now we have made some changes, modifications on the cylinder and the crankcase, and they have different colors. Then I go back to the engine parts catalog. Now I want to drag these modified parts to the catalog. So first I will move the camera, use the W key, look at, and then I come over to the scene browser. Now I will drag the crankcase here and drop it here in the catalog. I will click no, and then I will drag the cylinder like so, and then I will drag the cover. I will move the camera first like so, and then move it to this position, grab the cover. So now we have these modified parts here in the catalog. Then I press I and D, and also using the perspective camera. Now I would like to replace this modified cylinder with the original one. To do that, I have to select this cylinder first. So I'll control left click the cylinder to select it in part level, because this is an assembly. And then I have to use the control key, press and hold the control key, and then left drag the cylinder. Then I drop it here on this selected cylinder in the scene, and that cylinder will be replaced. I do the same with the crankcase. Control left click to select it, then control left drag the crankcase and drop it here on this one. We'll do the same with the cover. Control left click the cover, and then control left drag the original cover and drop it here. So now the modified parts have been replaced by the original parts. And the reason why they all will be replaced on the exact same spot is that all parts have an anchor. So if I select the crankcase, we see that the crankcase has an anchor, the cover has an anchor, and also the cylinder has an anchor. And because all these parts in the catalog are copies of the parts in the scene, they have the anchor located at the exact same spot as the parts in the scene. So when you replace them, they will be placed on the exact same spot because the anchor has the same position. And the anchor is also used as an insertion point when you drag and drop parts in the scene. Because this is an assembly, and let's say that now that you want to replace this cylinder with the modified cylinder, and you don't select the cylinder before you drag this modified cylinder and drop it here. So if I now control left drag the cylinder, the modified one, and move it here, it seems like the cylinder in the scene is selected because it's highlighted. If I drop it now on this midpoint or center point and drop it there, the whole assembly will be replaced because no parts were selected in the assembly. So I will undo this. So when you have an assembly and you want to replace a part in the assembly, you have to select the part you want to replace. So in the next video, we will see how the anchor can be useful in your design.